Hey, hello and welcome. Good evening to you. It is Tuesday evening, our hangout time. I love it. I'm happy to be here with you and welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you had a lovely day and this is a little bit of special time for yourself. This is time to learn. This is a time to chill out with like-minded people, to share our energy with each other and feel the community. So I hope that you are going to have a wonderful time hanging out. Thanks for joining us. Hello, hello. The first people are tuning in right now. I welcome you. Thank you for bringing your beautiful energy to the group. And like always, many, many regards. Lots of love and energy from Southern Utah. It was a beautiful day and I'm ready for us to hang out, you guys. We have a new month. This is a new opportunity. This is a whole new energy that we're stepping into collectively, you guys. Who would have thought that 2020 is turning out the way it does? And whatever you're dealing with in your own life right now is a time for you to just relax. You can go within, you can connect with like-minded people. You simply have a wonderful net, a wonderful support system. So really give yourself the opportunity to tap into that. You understand that we're all connected. You understand that we're all entangled. And so no matter where we are, as we are participating here live or tuning into it later along the week, that you simply know that we are connected and that we can support each other energetically right here, right now, wherever you're at, whenever you're watching this, okay? So welcome, and I really appreciate the energy that you are bringing, because each one of us has a little bit of a different flavor. You know, we all bring something unique. We all have special talents. We all have special gifts that we're bringing to the table. And for that, I'm deeply grateful, because it's that beautiful diversity that makes the whole, this whole organism of that, what we're making up together, so much more exciting and interesting. Okay, you guys? So bring yourself fully and completely, however you're showing up right now, wherever you're at in the world, whatever time zone you're in, and whatever your story is right now. We are going to work on resilience. So part of it is to start changing whatever story you have woven around that idea of what resilience means and how resilient you personally are. I find that resilience is a phenomenal resource right now with everything that we're dealing with globally. And that's why I have made it my dedication for this next month to very specifically use the law of attraction together with resilience to give you guys resources, to take you through processes and simply give you some insights and some information that might be useful to you. And like always, I'm just going to ask you to pick the pieces that you like and then let go of the stuff that doesn't pertain to you and that you don't resonate with, okay? I think that's the easiest, the most graceful way to deal with new information and exposing yourself to simply new ways of thinking. And that's what ultimately all these free seminars are about. I've been doing them since May, since I was in Germany when the COVID hit. And I had to make some very big decisions about what am I going to do, which country am I going to be in, and those kind of things. And so resilience became a very powerful resource, and I started immersing myself in it. And of course, I cannot help but seeing the correlation with the law of attraction and then also the work that I'm personally doing with quantum NLP. So that's my offering to you guys. This is about connecting. This is about getting the word out. The more people I can reach, the more people that we can reach together and create that ripple effect of positive energy, resilience, adaptability, and that high vibration that then can also help other people and have them feel supported, okay? That is ultimately the purpose, that we can vibrate at such a high frequency that we are in a natural state of understanding, openness, flexibility, adaptability. We are passionate about what we're doing, and we are also compassionate towards other people and all life on earth. We are free. We are confident. We have a good self-esteem. We know our value. We have purpose. And we're in the flow. We are grateful. We are appreciative, and we're just in a place of love. When you wrap all of that together and you're just imagining that that is your reality, for a good percentage of your time, because what Earl Nightingale says is that it's what man predominantly thinks he attracts, and woman. And so as long as you can keep yourself in a predominant vibration of gratitude and the happiness and the bliss and the freedom and the self-confidence and feeling on purpose and all that wonderful, wonderful stuff that I just said in form of resource that you can tap into, then you have so much energy to give to everybody else. And you can be that center of that ripple that goes out with your very specific gift, whatever you are here to share with the world. And just imagine that more and more and more people can tap into that. So that's my little vision of how we can help the planet and how we can create that beautiful, sustainable future for the future generations. And therefore, these gatherings, because I love hanging out with like-minded people. That's how I also get my support, especially in these times when we are not connecting in person as much. And therefore, I'm super grateful for this platform and that we are able to connect on this level, okay? So thank you for bringing your energy. And I am going to check out everybody who is checking in here. I see your names, you guys. I'm super happy that you're here with me. And I do want to announce that we have our winner from last week, which was Hannah. And Hannah gave me the lucky number for the winner of the seminar we did last Tuesday. And that is Diana Espinosa. And I really hope I just said your name right, okay? And I'm going to be in touch with you. So thank you very much, my dear, for tuning in and for commenting, for liking, because that's how you guys qualify for the free phone coaching session that I give away every week here, okay? So everybody, please make sure that you give a thumbs up or that you send a heart or a smile if there was something funny that you related with, or make a comment, and that's how you're going to enter our drawing for this week, okay? And I really, really appreciate you guys doing that, because then I can see who is actually on this call, and I can also see who taps into the future. And that really, you guys, makes my day, because that gives me that connection, that gives me that knowingness who is there, who I'm connecting with, and that we are ultimately on this beautiful journey together. Right on, you guys? This is what it's all about. We are now going from the solo hero's journey into the team, into the collective journey. And that is a major breaking point. That is a huge tipping point in our social evolution right now. And this is just me talking on my little soapbox right now. So this is what I've discerned ultimately. Ever since that movie came out, Dinosaur. Do you guys remember that from Disney? It was one of those, what is it called? Like a real life animation where they inserted the CGI dinosaurs into real landscape. And it was a really phenomenal movie. I loved that movie. And thanks to my boys being at that appropriate age at that time when that came out, I think it was still a VHS. Was it a VHS still? Nah, might have been a DVD. Remember DVDs? Where I watched it a lot, trust me. And Alada, you know, he's this really beautiful, humble, very, very solidarity and supportive leader who then ultimately leads his group to safety. Sorry, spoiler alert. And it's just an incredibly beautiful, beautiful story. And what I really got out of it the most is that it was a team story. The only reason that they made it ultimately was because they worked together and because there was this incredible solidarity between the group members, and all of them making their main focus to work together to get the herd to safety in the valley that wasn't being affected by the asteroid. And so that's what really inspired me on that level of, okay, there is something new, there is a new flavor to the hero's journey. It's not the old story again of the warrior who slays the dragon. That has now transformed into healing the dragon and turning the dragon into a friend, and then having them be an ally, and you are being in a beautiful mutually beneficial relationship with the dragon. And that's what I love about NLP, because we don't get rid of the bad parts, the parts that sabotage us, the parts that don't want to be up to par, the parts that are still stuck in childhood or adolescence or whatever it is. We're transforming them, we're transmuting them. And that to me is the essence of alchemy. So if you're interested in that, there's some phenomenal resources out there on that. So the hero's journey as a whole is currently transforming, and we are stepping more and more into the team journey. Has anybody ever heard of the Avengers? Why do you think are people so attracted to these movies? Why do you think these are the most highly acclaimed as well as the most box office hits that we've had over the last 10 years or so since they've been around? Because again, it is about the coming together of a diversity of people or energies or whatever you want to call it, that are then connecting in a group consciousness that is greater than the sum of the parts. Why am I talking about all of this, you guys? Because it relates to everything that we're going through right now. And the more we can align ourselves with the high vibration in our own lives and then connect with like-minded people, people that we feel an entrainment with, people we feel a connection with because there are similar values, for example. And that is one of the traits of highly resilient people, that they are holding a very specific value system. And there is a lot of other-oriented thinking. They're not selfish people that are only thinking about themselves. There is this need to help others. There is this need to support others. So you could say that they have a very highly developed mirror neuron. Have you ever heard of that? Mirror neurons are incredibly important for us to be able to have empathy for other people. It is like having a mirror. My little granddaughter fell the other day, and immediately I had this churn in my stomach that was so painful. And I'm like, oh man, that's my mirror neurons at work right now. Because in that moment where the child hurt herself, I felt that, that internal pain of empathy of another person hurting themselves. And you have experienced that yourself. And so people with a very, very high level of empathy really actually have to protect themselves to not constantly subject themselves to the emotions and the feelings that other people and experiences that other people are having. So that's something for those of you who are actually dealing with that, is something worthwhile looking at how you can manage that better. So empathy is one of those things. Having that mirror neuron enables a person to step into another person's shoes and experience it from their point of view. And so that is one of those things that connects someone who is very highly resilient, that they are able to have that empathy. They are looking out for other people. The wellness of the group is at the forefront of their thinking. So that's a good way of looking at it, that the wellness of the team, the success of the team is at the forefront of their focus and their strategy, and they know that when everybody is going to move together, that's how the whole team will win. So that's a wonderful way of looking at that. So the word that also comes with that then, of course, is high emotional intelligence. They are in command of their emotions, and that's where it directly relates to the law of attraction, because I want to make sure that I keep building that bridge between the concept of resilience, how it relates to law of attraction, and then how we can actually make it applicable in our lives, where it's not just this wonderful thing, that we're talking about in the seminar, and that's just some head food to think about and entertain. No, this is about practical application. This is about really taking it and making it useful in your life right here and right now with whatever you're dealing with in your life, okay? So one of the components, and that's what I just was talking about, is the idea of emotional intelligence. There is a management of your own emotions, and again, law of attraction, the ability to be in a high frequency. And what that means emotionally, that you are able to be in a place of gratitude, in a place of love, compassion, empathy. It is bliss. It is also spiritual fulfillment. It's being on purpose. Ultimately, enlightenment. Just listen to all of those beautiful words. And those are words that are describing, in our human terms, these beautiful vibrations that we feel when we are in that moment of just alignment with Source, or a feeling that we are perfectly guided to experience this beautiful synchronicity right here, right now. I had one earlier today where it was literally something we had talked about earlier, and then I ran across it completely unrelated, like 2 hours later in a video, and I'm like, bam, there it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's what I've learned over time, to just say thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, this is a moment that I need to really maximize and embellish on with my gratitude right now, because I know by doing that I am going to manifest more of that, okay? Because that's what my brain then will get used to. That's what my RAS will sort for. So it is about being able to recognize your emotions, your processing. What are my thoughts right now? Why am I feeling depressed now? Or why do I feel hopeless right now? Gosh, what is this pit in my stomach right now? Gosh, let's find out. And there is this ability to just flow with it, to be curious about it, to figure it out. Being able to do all of that is definitely a key element of someone who is considered a resilient person. And resilience happens before, during, and after an event. It can be either, it can be all of them. And there are certain markers. So for example, when you know that it's coming, of course it's easier. I'm thinking of surgery. I've had many sessions with people simply preparing them for surgery, because they knew by using the law of attraction, by using those principles of how you can direct your mind by the thoughts you're having in the form of the things that you're saying to yourself, your internal dialogue, the things that you're saying, how you're telling that story that you're having surgery, and as well as what you're exposing yourself to from the outside. It's also about the pictures that you're making, the visualizations that you're having. Super hugely important component in thinking that most people are not aware of. They see thinking is just a bunch of thoughts bubbling up in your head. They are also the pictures that you're making in your head. And you have very much control over how those pictures are going to manifest themselves, especially when you start learning to become aware of them and you're able to transform them into more positive pictures if the ones that you are making are not working for you. And then also the category of how you move your body. What is the posture that you're holding? How do you do your gestures? How do you hold your feet? How do you breathe? All of those body sensations have a direct effect on how you feel. The second you start holding your breath or you're breathing shallow for a few minutes, you will affect your emotional well-being. Trust me on that. Just like the pictures you're making, just like the words that you're saying to yourself, the feelings that you're having in your body, even the texture that you put on your body by the material that you choose in your clothing, or how you're sitting, how you're sleeping. What are the textures that you love to surround yourself with? What is the temperature that you feel most comfortable in? Those are all extremely important components in creating the overall emotion of how you say you're feeling. Oh, I'm feeling happy, I'm comfortable, I'm totally comfortable right now. That is a conglomeration of all these different components that then translate in your brain in the idea of I'm feeling comfortable. You're doing this all the time. You're constantly creating intents, which is the conglomeration of what you're sending out with your head and with your heart and with your actions into the universe. And that then determines the level of vibration you're able to experience. It takes a lot of work to create the emotion of anger. And you can also create the emotion of gratitude. And being able to build the bridge between an angry emotion and then being able to vibe yourself up to being grateful or resilient, that is the work that we're doing here. And that's why I'm doing these seminars, to give you many strategies and different ways. And first of all, the belief that you can do it. Everybody can do it. Anybody who is willing to, who has a little bit of an understanding of it and simply wants to give it a chance, can do this. So what I would like for you to declare for yourself is simply the willingness that you're teachable, that you're coachable, and that you're willing to do this. Give it a chance. And we always say, just do it for 30 days, see what happens. And then you can decide if you want to do something else. And in the meantime, when you do give yourself a true chance, you will create some interesting habits. And you might create some new ways of perceiving reality in the meantime, okay? So it is up to you, and that's what a resilient person is really good at, to notice their current state, their emotional well-being at that moment, wherever it's at, and then to be able to make the adjustments to create a higher vibration for themselves. So they might go from anger to frustration. Or if they're already at a place from frustration, they might go from frustration to choice. There is always a way to take where you're at and then take the next baby step up. Do not think that you need to go all the way up right now, because that might become overwhelming. And simply thinking about where am I at right now, and then what's the next step up that is going to be more useful for me than what I'm currently doing. And that, by the way, is another principle of the person who's highly resilient, that they are really discerning about the step that I'm taking right now, or the behavior that I'm engaging in right now. Is this useful? Is this really what I want to be doing? Is this hurting and harming me, or is this helping me? And again, having that awareness, being able to have that little shift in your thinking versus just mindlessly engaging in the activity, to be able to catch yourself for a moment and go, oh gee, look what I'm doing. We call that going meta. You're stepping above yourself. You're stepping beyond yourself. You're able to discern what you're doing from an observer perspective. And the more neutral you can go in that moment and not be bought into what you're doing, the more you can be neutral, the more information you're going to gather. And so that's a wonderful ability that, again, resilient people naturally are doing more of than people who are not as flexible and resilient. Give yourself the ability to step into the observer position and then notice what's going on and gather more information that you would not have been able to gather while you're stuck in your situation, especially if there is a lot of emotions being expressed in the moment, okay? So, those are some really powerful pieces of the resilient person, that they are able to be in that self-management mode, that they are able to discern what is useful right now. Do I really want to engage in this behavior, thought, feeling, or not? And the other piece is that they know that change is a part of life. They're not resistant to change, they flow with change, they welcome change. And even if change might not turn out the way they want it to, or they're knowing that there is some change coming up that might not be pleasant, or they deal with change that just happened, that completely threw them out of their journey and they have to now readjust, the resilience is going to help them in that deeper belief that change is part of life, and that a person who deals with change easier is going to have an easier time creating a new future for themselves, and so on and so on. They are going to have a much easier time with it, and they're going to flow with it much easier, okay? So those are some of the main pieces that I wanted to reiterate from our last meeting, last Tuesday, and you can find that very video on my wall if you happened to missed it. And I also appreciate you telling your friends, because I also want to spread a ripple in people understanding that the law of attraction is not this thing that we're just sitting here and discussing, and we have those little inklings once in a while when a wonderful synchronicity presents itself, or we are creating something really cool. I want people to understand that the law of attraction is a universal law that is always at work, that is always here to benefit you, to help you to create that life of your dreams. And for what we're dealing with right now, the most important piece that we can all deal with right now is our resilience, is our ability to be in our highest vibration possible and be a positive role model for others. Okay, so that's my intent behind everything that I'm doing here. So let's jump into the practical application, because I've been giving you guys enough head food now. And we are going to have an actual exercise with it. And what I mean by that is a process. I'm going to lead you guys through a process. And yes, it's a quantum NLP process where you are simply, all you need to do is allow yourself to follow along with the instructions, and then be kind to yourself, be open to yourself, and simply trust whatever answers, whatever your subconscious is going to offer you. So whatever bubbles up, trust it, flow with it, go with it. and then have a lot of fun, okay? That's my wish for you, and we're going to dive right in. After, first of all, we need to set our intent. I would like for you to simply make yourself comfortable wherever you're at. I hope you're in a wonderful, safe environment where you can lean back and you can breathe deeply. Perhaps you're surrounded by a couple of loved ones, so yay, those of you who are doing this in a group or with someone who's dear to you. And yes, thank you very much for sharing with your family members and with your friends, because I know a lot of you are already doing that. And so whoever you're with right now, whoever you're surrounded by, I just had a kitty scratch on my door here. Sean and Max are outside in the living room. So just feel that energy. Whoever you're with right now, whatever your surroundings are, your neighbors, whatever place you're in. And breathe deeply. Give yourself that nourishment, connecting with Source, connecting with Divine. Connect with energy. Come on, let's step out of this material world for a moment and just dissolve ourselves into our molecules, into our atoms, into our particles, all the way down into our energy field. So feel that connection of the oneness with everybody else as we are supporting each other, experiencing this together. And so I would like for you to now tap into that part of you that already knows why you came here this evening. What drew you here? Is it something that you're curious about? Is it something where you would like to create a higher awareness? Perhaps you would like to create some internal alignment. Perhaps you want peace of mind. Perhaps you want courage or confidence. Perhaps there's an issue in your life that you would like to deal with this evening. So just let your thoughts flow and bubble up right now to what would be the perfect positive intent for you to express right here, right now. And what do you want out of this? Okay? So please state that to yourself. And you might even want to write it down. You know, I'm a huge fan of note-taking. You might even say the words out loud. There's a lot of power in resonating your words out loud. So let me share my intent as well. Drum roll. So for you guys, my intent is that I'm a clear presenter and that the information that is meant to be flowing through me right now is going to flow with ease and grace so that you get the most value out of our time together. And my intent for myself is, because my current theme is health, that is what I have dedicated this year to, and with the boot camp that we did 2 months ago, which now is actually exactly 60 days ago that we started that. And for me personally, there was such a huge success in the outcomes that I got and some of the patterns that I've been able to keep since. So now I'm 60 days into it, and that's really exciting. I'm dedicating this evening and what I'm doing with this exercise to my health. And I want to get some really specific input from those people that I'm going to choose in my council. And that's the exercise I'm going to be taking you through. So I'm doing this for myself as well. And yes, I will take some notes after our meeting. And I promise to myself as well as to you that I'm going to do that. And I'm going to follow through with that. That's very important. Okay? So please also state your intent to yourself. Perhaps there's a loved one around you that you can state it to, or you can even write it in our comments. I would love to see that. And feel the support that we all give each other in our intents, and we just release them to the universe right now. All right? Take a deep breath. Take another one. Let it out with a sound. Even move your arms, move your body a little, and yes, wonderful. Okay, you're feeling nourished, you're feeling refreshed, you got the energy to go on a wonderful journey. Remember, this is a team journey, so no matter where you're at, we're all supporting each other. We are all affecting each other in the quantum field. So be aware, my friends. It's a real deal. As we are supporting each other, I would like to think of something that you are currently working on in your life. And like I always like to look at the different areas of our lives. Perhaps it's something in your own health and well-being where you feel that you would like to be more resilient. Perhaps it's something in your finances. Where do you need to bounce back? Are you coping currently? Are you afraid what the next few months might bring? Or is it more in the realm of relationships? Are there certain relationships that you would like to build up your resilience, where you can simply grow, where you would like to transform a little bit? Perhaps it's in a very intimate relationship, or it might be a work environment relationship. It might be with your children or your parents. Do you need to become more resilient? So just notice what compels you, what talks to you, okay? Or is it specifically in your career? The very basis in Latin of resilience, resilienza, is to bounce back. And that can be during a crisis or after a crisis. So I don't know how your career is personally affected, or the fears that you might have about how your career might be affected in the future because of the pandemic, as well as everything else that we're dealing with globally right now. So do you need to become more resilient in your work environment, in your career building, in your legacy building? Does that touch you? Or are there certain lifestyle choices where you feel that you're sabotaging your success, your happiness, your flow, your ease? Are you one of those people who keep saying that you need to meditate or do yoga or change your diet or pick up a certain hobby or visit someone you haven't seen in a while? Are those unfulfilled wishes that you've been dragging around? So of all those areas that I just mentioned, which one speaks to you most? And that's what I would like for you to maximize your effort this evening, by putting your attention on that very specific area, okay? Why are we doing that? Because the brain, the way the brain works is it goes first specific, then it generalizes. By you going specific and thinking about a very specific thing in your life that you would like to build more resilience with, then as you're starting to gather evidence, your brain goes, ooh, I really like this. Oh, wow, this feels good. Wow, look at that. You went out on a limb and you actually survived it and you actually thrived in it. Cool, let's do more. And the heart supports. It's like, you know what? It was scary, but you did it anyway. And wow, look at you. You just built your courage. You just cranked it up a notch, okay? And that allows us to build bigger dreams, to put out bigger intents. Right? You're putting out different intents than you did 10, 20, 30 years ago. That's because you've been cultivating that. And some of you have done it more than others. So whatever your baseline is right now, make a commitment that you're going to take it to the next level. And that's exactly what this wonderful process is all about. For you to be able to take it to the next level. And we're all doing it together, supporting each other as the hero team that we are. Okay? So, you got your arena that you want to play in today. State it right now. I'm going to discover something very powerful, very amazing, important for my growth in this arena. And I'm dedicating this process to that right now. The healing, the transformation that is ready to happen. Say something like that to yourself in your own words. Okay. So, we have discerned our play arena for this evening. And now I would like for you to simply allow yourself to follow the instructions, go with the flow, trust whatever words come to your mind, whatever feelings you're getting, as well as any kind of pictures that are popping up for you, okay? Excellent. So, in regards to the place that you have picked where you would like to improve your own resilience, I would like for you to think about who are some of your role models. Who are the people who inspire you? And those might be people in your personal life. It might be a relative. It might be a teacher. It might be a neighbor. Someone who showed up as a mentor for you. A friend. A community leader. It might also be someone in a novel, someone in a TV show, a movie, even in the lyrics of a song, Someone who inspired you, something in their personality, something in how they coped with life, the way they were able to adapt, how they presented themselves in their emotional intelligence, in their level of managing their vibration. Who are those people that inspire you in legends, sagas? Okay, you getting some ideas? And I would like for you to pick one person right now. And of course, one of the very first people that comes to my mind is Hildegard von Bingen, the very, very powerful mystic from 1,000 years ago, who lived literally 15, 20 miles from where I grew up. And her monastery is one of the places I love to visit, simply to immerse myself in that energy. She was a visionary, she was a poet, she was a singer, a musician, she composed. She did art, she was an herbalist, so that's why, for example, she shows up for health, because she was an alternative herbalist at that time and did a lot of healing that was just incredibly revolutionary for 1,000 years ago. And I have to say, the part that I love best about her is that she was just a naughty rebel. She completely defied the traditions of the very male-dominated church at that time, and she was actually at the fear of getting denounced as a witch or as a devil worshipper, and then she actually got the support by the Pope and was able to travel all over Europe and teach. So she is one of my all-time heroes. And so that is one of the people that deeply inspires me and that I would be just so honored to have on my council. And that's exactly what we're going to do right here, right now. We are going to create a council of people that are influencers and leaders and philosophers and people who are encouraging change and people who are really making big things happen in this world. And the people that you're thinking of right now, just like I have the story that I have woven around Hildegard von Bingen and the incredible influence that she had and why she inspires me, I know that you're also holding the person dear in your heart that you're thinking of right now. So I would like for you to really tap into that story that inspires you about this person. And it might be someone like Oprah, who is definitely an incredible role model for resilience when you know her story. And I'm also thinking of someone like Mother Teresa, who must have incredible resilience for everything that she dealt with in the decades of service that she's given to these people. So many incredible role models of people who kept bouncing back, who didn't take no for an answer, who reinvented themselves multiple times. So you're getting some great ideas? And again, what is the story that you have woven around them and that archetype that they are representing for you? Perhaps they are the warrior. Perhaps they are that survivor that was able to pull themselves out of a cancer diagnosis. Or they were told that they were terminally ill and then they created a miracle. So whatever it is that you attach to, whatever you engage with in the story of that person, I want you to really feel that right now in your body and why it inspires you and why you're holding this person in such a high esteem. So give yourself that right now. And what we're doing here, my friends, is we are creating a resource council. And if you want to imagine it perhaps like a boardroom, where you are the president, you are the CEO, you are the leader, you are the person who's calling the meeting. And you are the person who gets to say, these are the people that I deem worthy being invited on my council. So that is the purpose of what we're doing here. We're creating your resilience council, your resource council of people and energies that you will have access to very easily, very quickly when you need it. And today, I'm just giving you the idea of how you can do it, and then I'm going to send you off and you can challenge yourself in how you want to practically apply it and who you want to invite and how you want to play with the council. I've been playing with the council since 1993, when I first learned about the book Heart of the Mind. And I don't know if it's in print right now. I have given away so many versions of that book that I don't even have one right now. And yet that one story always stuck in my mind, and it was about the conflict integration of two parts And then my husband made the brilliant comment, well, if it works for 2 parts, can I also do it with 3 parts? And then he started creating a resource council, as he called it, where he tapped into what he called the mountain men, the men who's totally self-sustaining. He lives in the mountains, he hunts, he has his garden, he lives off the land. He is a very sustainable person. Then he has the suit, the guy who likes to dress up, the guy who wants to walk around with his attaché case, who likes to spend money, who likes to have a very specific lifestyle. Then there is the father. Then there is the warrior, because Sean learned to acknowledge his internal warrior coming from a multi-generational army family, military family, and so there is that part of him that also deeply identifies with that archetype. Then there is this healer, then there is his chef, right? We all know how that goes. We all benefit from that part of him. And that was the beginning of this idea like, oh, gee, we are made of many parts and there are some incredible resources. And did you notice what he's doing? He is actually going internal. So actually one of the people that I'm going to invite you to invite onto your council is actually your higher self. Okay? So that's what we're going to do here in a moment. I just wanted to share with you how we came about this whole idea of putting this table together, putting this space together where these different aspects can sit together. They can brainstorm. This is a think tank. That's another beautiful word for this. This is a hub. This is simply for you to acknowledge the resources that you have access to, especially when they're deeply inspiring to you, okay? So let's bring it back to that first person that we just picked, okay? You got yours. And I would like for you to simply connect with that energy right here, right now. Invite this person into our group, into our circle here. And I would like for you to get a visual of how you're imagining your council to be. So yeah, it might be a very chic and elegant boardroom with all, you know, the glass, and it's got this gorgeous big table and all the fun stuff that makes a boardroom all attractive. Or it might be a natural setting where you're sitting with the druids and the shamans around a campfire. It might be the round table of the knights. It might be in a castle. It might be in a temple or a church. It might be any place in nature or off the planet that your mind loves to conjure up. So the important thing is you are in charge, you are the leader, you're creating the scenario, the landscape where this is taking place, and you're creating the circumstances of the meeting. As you're tapping into the visual that is most comfortable for you and to share with you, I'm going to the druids. I'm feeling a very strong Celtic connection right now. And again, it is that 1,000 years ago, that value system about the herbs being sacred and Mother Gaia. And we are fully understanding the vibrational component of sound healing and of the natural healing aspects of the plants and the other things that we're using in our healing. What am I thinking of? I know there's water. I'm thinking of water, the healing power of water, for example. Yeah. So I'm in this very natural setting, lots of grass and beautiful trees. So it is a meadow in a forest that we're meeting at, and there's some beautiful sacred rocks that are set up as an altar. And that's where I'm currently holding my council. Okay, so please choose your own council space and backdrop that is appropriate for you. And I would love for you guys to share that so that it inspires others that can see your comment. Okay, that would be fantastic. Where do you go with your council? And then let's invite this first person. And please create the rapport, welcome them warmly, give your references, give your esteem, show them your respect, show them your honor that they are here with you right here, right now, okay? So in my case, I'm imagining Hildegard von Bingen now walking into the clearing, and she is taking her place, and I'm welcoming her, I'm explaining everything to her, and I just make her feel welcome and honored that she is now sharing her time and her energy and wisdom with me, okay? So please, would you do that for yourself as well? And for those of you who might be drawing a blank a little bit or who feel a little awkward because you haven't done that often yet, you would say something like, oh, my dear master, or my wonderful friend, I so appreciate that you're willing to share your energy with me, and you're willing to be on my counsel and to impart your wisdom in this quest that I'm currently on with improving my health, and I want to get to a higher vibration in how I'm treating my body, how I treat my mind, my emotions, and I want to take it to the next level of mastery and transform certain parts of my body that are currently not vibrating as high as I'd like. And I'm so grateful that you are willing and able to be on my counsel and willing to share your wisdom with me. So welcome, Holy Hildegard, and I appreciate you so much for being here with me today. Thank you. Please express your gratitude and also share with them why you invited them to be on your council, okay? So take a minute. All right. And then see their response. I want you to really engage with that. Einstein said, imagination is everything. So the power of your imagination, we're just now tapping into that. How insanely important it is, the qualities of the pictures you're making, you allowing yourself to make those pictures and then really immersing yourself in them. So play it out, go epic, go really into dreamland. And that's what we're now bringing back to the children, instead of saying, oh, don't daydream and don't pretend, don't act as if. It's like, no, do it, do it, do it. And what we're doing here right now is acting as if. But what we're really doing is, what we're evoking is the energy, it's the archetype. And ultimately, with all being connected, there is a level of connection that I'm now having with this incredible mystic woman that lived 1,000 years ago, because her information is downloaded in the quantum field. And by me having this visualization, and the more I immerse myself in that, and the more I'm able to keep that imagination in my mind, Esther Hicks says 17 seconds, you know, there are different numbers, there are different strategies, but what it really, really boils down to is, the more you're able to hold that vision and that picture and you're immersing yourself in it, the more you're going to get that vibration, that excitement, that receivingness. Like, for example, she always smiles at me. She just has this beautiful, most peaceful smile where simply the smile already heals. She's one of those people who walks into the room and the people heal because of her high vibration and her level of to entrain other people in that. And so when you can really immerse yourself in seeing that, so I'm seeing myself now in this clearing with this beautiful rock altar that we have built, and there's also flowers and other things that make up the altar. And there she is in her way that she's dressing, and there is this incredibly beautiful, peaceful smile on her face. And then I listen. And after I welcome her, I'm simply allowing myself to trust whatever words are now flowing into my mind. And I know that they come from the quantum field and they are connected with that essence of what makes Hildegard, Hildegard, or whoever that you have chosen. That whatever words that now are actually forming in your mind are the direct communication from the essence of that person. So give yourself the ability to tap into that right here, right now. And after you have now welcomed that person, I would like for you to simply allow yourself to notice what now comes back from them to you. How are they engaging with you? What do you see? What do you hear? And also, what do you sense with your body? And what Hildegard is telling me, the words that are flowing through mind as I look at her, and what I feel she's telling me is that it is my intent in what I'm sending out with my vision, as well as what I'm saying to myself. And it has to be in connection with my physical behavior, of how I'm feeding myself, how I'm nourishing myself, the thoughts I'm feeding myself with, the pictures I'm feeding myself with, being out in nature, seeing beauty, surrounding myself with beauty. So I understand what she means by that it's my choice and it's my discernment. And the more I do surround myself with the beauty and do the things that I know are upholding my high energy vibration, the more I'm also going to be able to turn that inward in the healing of my organs, my blood vessels, my muscles, my bones, whatever it is that I'm putting my attention to. So that is powerful, powerful information. Oh my goodness, wow. So that's just an example, you guys. What I can give you this evening in our time together is to start the process and give you an example of how it is when you are inviting the energy of a specific person or an animal or a fictional character or an ascended master or a holy person or a mountain. That's the beauty. So that's where we're going to go with this. You can go anywhere with this. I have worked with dragons for many years because that is a very, very important symbol to me. I see the multicultural effect of it. I love the energy of it. And I just love to work with this very specific archetypal energy that the dragon represents to me. And that's where you can go into any arena that speaks to you, and that's where you can also let your spiritual belief system fly into this process by connecting with your spiritual guides, the prophets, the people that have lived in the past, the people that have inspired thousands and millions, and that we're still praying to, people that we're still putting statues on our altars, the people that we feel have given us across time, across space. Okay, and you know exactly who it is for you, and everybody's going to be different. So I'm excited about the plethora and about the variety of spirits and elements and fairies and, oh my goodness, the ascended masters that are showing up here right now because of who you're bringing into the mix. Woo! This is exciting, and this is multicultural, and this is global, you guys, what we're doing here right now. So feel that too, not just the people that you are connecting with right now. Feel everybody that we're connecting with because of the connection that we're all having together. So tap into that for a moment. All these little parts that we're forming ourselves, and then they're all connecting. I know all of those, you guys, that I actually personally know that I'm connecting with right here, right now. Feel it like it is like a spider web with all these different touch points that then are all connecting, and this is like a brain where all those different neurons are connecting with each other. So whatever visual that you're getting right now, it is all these water droplets coming together in a bowl. Yeah, so feel all of that right now, and all this incredible access to resources that we just created for and with each other. Yeah, awesome. All right. So the way this goes is that you collect about 4, 5, 6, perhaps 7 different people, entities, spirits, leaders, helpers, supporters, whatever your words are, that are going to form your core council. When I started this out in 1993, after this wonderful process with Sean and getting that inspiration about, yeah, I'm made of different parts. I remember my first one was my internal princess. And what I mean by that is simply my own dignified self. And that has ultimately turned into what I call the goddess now. And that's simply where I feel that I'm connected to divinity, I'm connected to source, I'm feeling the oneness. And in my case, I like it to be this beautiful dance between the male and the female energy, like in the yin and yang, that then is expressed in the very specific person that I am. And that is my first part I ever connected with. And then I also connected with my mother part, especially once I became a mom. I really wanted to connect with that nourishing, caring part of myself. And then there is also the presenter, the leader part in me. So that's that first little inkling that I got on, the magnificence of creating a council and what it could really mean to you when you do have a problem or you have a situation that you want more input, that you can actually call your council and say, okay, let's have a meeting, let's gather, and I can talk to each one of you guys. And then you can have private meetings as well. So one of the people that I have a lot of consultations with over the last few years is Elon Musk. Because what I admire about Elon is his ability to bounce back. In reading his biography, it was just one string of having interesting circumstances of the companies that he created and then creating drama with his fellow people that he was involved in on some level or another, which, by the way, is not what I'm modeling, because we have discernment about that. That's the first thing I learned about modeling. When you're modeling how to play piano as Mozart, leave out all his crazy behavior and his lifestyle choices and dying young and all that stuff. What you want to concentrate on his genius as a piano player and as someone who is composing. So you want to use the discernment, and you can pick out the pieces that you really, really resonate with a person. And that's the discernment I had to have with Steve Jobs. Because there are many things that I'm judging and I'm looking at going, well, I don't know if I, would be friends with him and if I want to hang out with him. And I can only say, holy smokes, when I look at how he translated the ability to look at calligraphy and see the essence of the beauty and the simplicity of it, and then translated that into the design of Apple, that's genius. That is absolutely genius. And I can hold him in that respect, and I can admire him for that. So have that discernment in yourself. And if you had any kind of trepidation about, oh gosh, there's all these pieces that I really like about this person, but then there's these other things that I don't really like about them. So if you have trepidations about that, then don't do it. If you really feel that because of other things that this person might have done or what they're standing for, that might not be a good role model for you. So you do want to feel a level of congruence with that role model where you can say, you know what, this is what I'm concentrating on because that's the part that's important to me. Now, putting a person on your council, I would say that there needs to be a very high level of congruence. If there were pieces in Hildegard von Bingen's life that I cannot identify with and that I'm actually opposed to or that go against my value system, I probably wouldn't put her on my council. Do I think that Elon Musk is a crazy genius? Absolutely. Do I think that he thrives on drama? Yes. So that's the part that I'm not going to model. What I do model is his ability to bounce back from failure, even being ousted from his own companies, even being in a place of having to make a decision that he might lose all of his money because he's engaging in his next crazy startup, and he still did it. That's the part that I admire, and that's the part that I identify with and that I want to learn more from him. How do you do it, Elon? What is your mindset in that moment where you're going, screw it, I'm going to go for it because I so believe in what I'm doing here. And that's the part that I love. The same with Lady Gaga. Born this way. That's the message that this woman holds for me. That's why I love her. That's why she's a role model to me in how she's able to connect with her little monsters. The way that she is so authentic in her engagement with her fans and how much she loves them. That's what I'm modeling from Lady Gaga. And her ability to bounce back. So think about how those people speak to you and who really is aligned with you on multiple levels so that you feel very, very comfortable spending time with them, being in their presence and making them part of who you are. So why are we even doing this? We're doing this because we are building our ability to entrain with the universe. Entrainment is a very natural part of how all of this works. Everything in the universe is entangled. When you go down to the most basic foundational part as we currently understand it, how the universe works and what the foundational blocks are, it is energy waves. And those waves are all connected across time and across space. So imagine that right now. Just give yourself that. that amazing oneness, that unity that connects all of us, the quantum field, the noosphere, the Akashic records, whatever words that you've heard it being described as, it's all the same. Unified field that we're all part of. So just feel it. It's like an ocean. That's an easy metaphor for that. It's an ocean wave. We are all connected. Feel that. Okay, so that's what entanglement is. And because we are all entangled, that's why we can entrain each other. That's why I just read this most wonderful report about there are 148 instances that are currently being cited in this report where major inventions on this earth happened in multiple places on earth at the same time without the people having connection with each other. Because what these people did was actually tap into the consciousness of everybody and everything, and were able to pull out that information at the same time. So that is really incredible information on the level of entrainment. And some of the very easy personal experiences that you can look at right here, right now, are, for example, little behaviors that some people will do in your family or in your circle of friends or even with strangers, where all of a sudden you're like, isn't it funny, everybody's doing it. And my favorite example there is yawning. When someone yawns, what happens naturally? And I know I got at least one of you guys. Someone is right now really compelled to yawn or already yawned. Or you might have yawned first and you actually entrained me. I don't know. So yawning is one of those wonderful examples. As soon as one person starts yawning in a group, you will see some other people yawning. Trust me on that. Another one, looking up. Just look up at something. Other people will follow suit because we're entraining each other. As soon as we're in the vicinity with each other, we are so entraining each other. Someone comes into the room and they're in a bad mood. Well, guess what happens? The mood goes down. Someone comes into the room in a great mood. Well, guess what? They're just uplifting everybody, especially if they have a lot of leadership, if they have a lot of charisma. And you have experienced that. You have experienced it as the giver and the receiver. You have done things that other people followed suit. And you have also been the one following other people in their behaviors. And all of this works because of the principle of entrainment. And that's what we're doing when we're creating our resource council. We're entraining ourselves to the energies of these people. Iron Man, you can make him available and his resources to you. Captain America, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. You can make those resources available to you by connecting with the spirit, with the essence of that person, that novel, that character, whoever it is, and simply learn from them by entraining yourself to their energy, their archetype, the learning lessons, what makes them who they are, what are the qualities that they imbue. And by tapping into that oneness, you can do that. And you can do it with anybody. And it's across time, it's across space. This gives you a lot of options, trust me. And once you start getting into this whole arena of tapping into your higher self, and that's the last thing we're going to do. So I'm not going to have the time to take you through each one of the positions, but just like what I modeled for you with Hildegard von Bingen for myself and whoever you picked in that moment, I would like for you to do the same thing with the other people that you're picking. And then have a conversation between all of them. Create that group meeting, create a gathering where everybody gets to meet everybody else and you have a conversation and you can present a project. You're like, okay, that's what we're working on. We're working on health. We're working on financial resilience during these times. We're working on my career right now, okay? So everybody, I would appreciate your input and what is the most important thing that I need to know right now? That's the question I love to ask the universe most frequently. I draw a card every morning. That's one of the promises that I made myself during the last boot camp, that I wanted to have that spiritual connection and help me hold my intent clean for the day by drawing a tarot card in the morning. And that's what I've been doing because I put them right there on my desk where I go first thing in the morning and I draw one of those cards and then I read the message. And that's one of the ways that I entrain myself in this realm of openness to resources and talking to my guides. So whatever you need to do to create that space for yourself, you might set a little time apart for yourself where you're actually putting it on your calendar. This is my meditation time with my guides. I'm going to have a weekly resource meeting with my council Sunday evening before we go into the week, and I'm just going to check in with them and see what everybody has to say. Okay, those kind of things. So let's wrap it up, you guys. One more little gift for you. I would like for you to simply take a deep breath. And right now, I would like for you to tap into your own essence. And being connected with the quantum field right now, I would like for you to simply connect with your higher self. Your own self, you might call it your angelic self, your connected self, your energetic self, your older self, your wiser self, your crone, your shaman. Use the word that feels most comfortable for you. And then just connect with that essence of yourself, the one that knows, the one that guides you. And then I would like for you to simply ask those words that I just said. What is the most important information for me to know right now? Please share that with me. And you can imagine floating into your higher self, becoming them, looking back at your human self. And what my higher self is saying, that you know you're on track and you can speed up the process the more time you spend in those internal realms. And you're really aligning yourself with all of your resources and the universe. You know that every action that you're taking is going to be magnified and maximized. So don't spin your wheels on just activities. Make sure that it's always divinely inspired. Okay? I float back into myself. I hear it. So give yourself the time. You either do it right now, you do it quickly, or you do it later. You might do it in your dreams, or you might assign a special time when you want to communicate with your higher self. And once they have expressed themselves, you simply step back into yourself and you receive it. Yeah. All right. All right. My dear friends, there's a lot more to this topic that I can't share with you right now because of time constraints. And we're going to keep this journey going next Tuesday, when we're going to tap into our next resource on how we can increase our vibration, how we can increase that awareness of being able to step into our resilience more and more, have it flow into all areas of our life, being able to be a beacon of light for other people in our lives, and simply uphold that wonderful high vibration that then is going to be beneficial to everybody else because of that connection that we all have, right? So I'm feeling compelled because I'm seeing that the sunset is happening. So I'm going to unclick this and see if we have a moonrise. Oh, you guys, this is exciting. Is it happening? Not yet, right? But it's going to be right over there, back there. So tonight's the night, you know that, at 11:22, I believe, is the time when the moon will rise on this beautiful Tuesday evening, and I'm wishing you a wonderful good night wherever you're at. Have a good night's sleep, do some integration, and keep this work alive. Keep it going, and then we're going to see each other next week again, okay? I wish you the best, my friends. Lots of love, lots of connection, and you can always tune into these videos. You can go back on my wall and watch the old videos. They're all on my wall, and they're all loaded with resources for you to keep raising your vibration and to keep that connection going, okay? Because we're all supporting each other, and for that, I'm super grateful. Have a wonderful evening. See ya. Ciao.